Morning.
Good morning, Chris.
It may just be us. I know Jill's not coming. And I haven't heard from anybody about what the topic is, so I don't know anything what's going on.
I haven't either. Well, we'll wait a couple minutes, see if anybody comes on.
Yeah, Cheryl texted me about wanting to do training with the neighborhood nurture stuff and the neighborhood emails. And my response was, well, I'm not in charge of the topics for topic of Coffee and Command.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you need to, that's really from the tech committee standpoint. And she said that she reached out to Patty and Patty said, Chris is in charge. And I was like,
Okay.
that's the first I've heard of this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to figure out what's going on. I knew this was going to happen. This when we had the first tech committee meeting. It was me and Cara, Patty, and Vic, and Aaron. There were two other people in that meeting, and Vic and Patty were like ready, fire, aim. They were firing at all barrels, is trying to get as much out. Let's do this. And I was like, this is going to peter out real quick. And that's exactly kind of what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, I definitely will. I'll think about it and talk to Dory and the other staff and see what we feel like is best.
Yeah. I mean, and I think Dory and I have kind of had those conversations about, you know, Vic and Patty want to do all these things and then they're not on the call. And that's confusing to people.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who they're supposed to go to.
Yeah. Well, and us not being able to advertise the topic makes it difficult too.
Right.
Especially as people learn. Hi.
Good morning.
Morning. I hope you liked my laugh at your text.
I did.
Okay.
So I just finished 66 Days of Command. Woohoo! Go me.
Wow. How was that?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it actually.
Yeah.
So is there like a next like 85 or something like that?
There's all kinds of stuff. Lori Ballin has a 365 Days of Command.
Oh dear God.
I don't know if that's a paid thing or not. She has a lot of great information. She's got a big team of like marketing and internet people, and she's a big rainmaker out in Vegas. And she has a business model so that she gives us some free stuff, and then for the real good stuff, you've got to pay for it. Nick Baldwin just released his Command 101, which evidently is just unreal. And I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to next week. Like video sessions, and then there's a quiz at the end to kind of test your aptitude to what you've learned.
Okay.
You can take the quiz and pass a certain amount before you go to the next thing, which I think is awesome, because then it really makes you focus and pay attention to what you're trying to do.
Yeah, what I've done is I've watched the tutorial on YouTube and then paused it and played in Command, go back, played in Command. So that's helped a lot.
Now, Marty has like 3 different versions of the 66-day command, because again, we are a year and a half into this now, really, where this stuff has been released, and then things have changed, and I saw something this morning, and I took a picture of it so I wouldn't forget. At least I think I took a picture of it. Oh, maybe I saved it. Let me see. About all the stuff that got fixed on Command this week. Let's see, videos. How do I find my saved videos? Because I've got thousands of them. There we go. Smart plan termination and error messages in the contacts timeline. The only issue currently terminating smart plans is an invalid email address. If you received a terminated and error message in the past 24 hours, please check the contact's email address for accuracy. For smart plans impacted by this error prior to yesterday, contacts must be re-added to the smart plan to restart the flow. So if you've been doing any of that stuff, because I know you're doing trying to do a lot of neighborhood nurture stuff.
Starting, yes.
Yeah. And so if you get any kind of issues like that, it's usually, I've heard one of two things. One, you can delete that smart plan and start over.
Okay.
That tends to fix it. Or based on this is, it's basically what it says. Basically delete that smart plan and redo it. It must be re-added to the smart plan to restart the flow. But it will not add the contact twice, is what it says.
Do you have any idea where they are in trying to figure out the duplication of MLS? You know, you get both those properties.
I'm telling you, they've had this issue for so long. I don't think that's something that will ever get fixed, only because we're part of 2 different MLS systems. Now, if they eventually do the feed directly from KWS, it will fix that problem. But I think because of everybody's got different MLS systems that they're part of. And, as part of the Rawls group, we're required to do both. And that's just kind of the way it is. I mean, I don't think there's really any way to actually fix that, just because it's of what it is. I mean, the way to fix it is to be part of one MLS system, which we can't do. So I've always had the conversation in the front end with my clients ahead of time when they're buying, like, just so you know, when you see stuff from my app or when you're searching for properties on my website, you're going to see them twice. Now, they both have different aspects of pros and cons, but it's not that the house is listed twice. It is listed twice, but it's just in 2 different MLS systems. It's only listed one time, but just the way our system works. It's just it's really hard, I think, to code things to make it just one.
So there's not duplicates.
Yeah. So just have that. I would just have that conversation on the front end, and most people don't care. I've never, in fact, I'm 14 years, no one's ever said, why am I seeing this twice? Like to a plate where they're like complaining about, like, oh my God, I can't stand. We're more upset about it than the clients are.
For sure. Probably. Yeah, probably.
Because it's just like, why am I seeing, I want to just see the houses.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
The biggest thing is making sure we're not seeing stuff that's, 3 years old, which is one of the biggest problems we're having right now. Stuff that's already sold or is off the market is still showing up in the feed just because of the way the feed works. That's the complaint that I've heard. So,
Chris, I have a question.
Yes.
First of all, your Beastie Boys background is everything.
Thank you. So there's a restaurant in Charleston. It's a barbecue restaurant. And I was there visiting my mom, and I walked by and I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. This was like 4 years ago. So I took a picture of it. Yeah. But thank you.
What? Okay. So I know this is command. So I guess maybe this is not the right platform for this question. So if it's not, I apologize. I don't know if it's a website or if it's if it's a person we contact. Who is the person that we contact in order for the transfer of all of our files in .loop to Docusign?
Okay.
Or to command.
So the name of the company is called P as in Paul, I Nation. And if you just Google APINation.com or just Google API Nation, it comes up. And in fact, if you Google it the right way, one of the first things that comes up under API Nation is .loop transfer. Yeah, I mean, literally, it's one of the first things you do. And I did it 2 days ago. It's $10 a month. It's seamless. Once you've signed up and done it, it just goes. Now, depending on how long you've been using .loop, will depend on how long you need to keep it. I mean, you might need, like, I may only need to keep it for a month because I don't have a ton of files in .loop. Now, if you're a suits team or somebody like that, they may have to do it longer. It just depends on how long the system takes to update the stuff. And it also depends on how long you're going to continue to use .loop. If you continue to use .loop, you're going to keep it on all the time. So even
if they download it to the Google Drive, I'll still have to use .loop?
No. So once you've downloaded all the files down to the drive that have been in .loop, you can turn it off. You're done.
If you're no longer using .loop.
As long as you're not losing, yeah.
If you're continuing to use .loop and creating loops, you're going to have to keep that up to keep the backup going.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But I think are you asking about how to transfer them into command, like your active loops?
Honey, yes, all of it.
All of it, because there's two different things. API Nation does the backup for you.
Right.
They're the ones who put it on. They'll take care of adding it to a Google Drive or a Dropbox for you. But
I actually transfer my active and my under contract loops yesterday, and it was a pure let's just say it didn't go well. Like stuff from years ago kept popping up.
It's hard. But I think you can kind of do the same thing, Kristen. I think you could turn that on and it would move it to Google Drive, and it might be easier to move it from Google Drive than to Docusign.
Versus
I haven't had to
import .loop.
Yeah, I haven't had to do that yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you followed the instructions that they provided to do that import .loop, and it was rather nightmarish. Is that what you're saying?
Only because I think I didn't. So, like if something closes and you don't change the status to close or whatever it is,
yes,
it'll still show up. So it was just a number of things that popped up. And it seems like all the stuff that was popping up was, super old stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay. So now I got to go back and I got to go back and try to change all those statuses. It's just a lot.
Yeah. Again, it depends on how many deals you got in .loop. I mean, especially active deals. That's why we've been kind of stressing. Of course, now with the deadline, tomorrow, it's not going to matter. But we've been trying to push people to stop using .loop, even though it's easier and you probably know it better. We've been trying to push people into the Docusign thing for new deals, so they didn't have to deal with that. And that's hard because. But again, I'll go back and tell you again, when we first got .loop and I was training people on .loop, they were so pissed about everything. They were like, why are we doing this? I don't understand. I can't figure this out. And I'm like, back when .loop, and we were deciding between .loop and DocuSign's easier. But we were forced to use .loop, and so people had to learn .loop. Well, now they're all upset because they don't have to use .loop anymore. They got to use DocuSign. So it'll get easier, I promise. It's always the unknown. And as agents, we're constantly fighting battles with ourselves to stay out of the way and move to something new and not keep with the old thing. I mean, again, if you think of it, 40 years ago, you were walking around with the MLS thing in the back of your car on a piece of paper.
Right.
I saw something yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
For absentee ballot voting, where they wanted you to, I had a damaged absentee ballot, and they wanted me to fax something to them. And I went, I don't even know how I would do that anymore. I mean, I can just email, I can scan it and I could send it to you, but I was like, how am I going to fax something to somebody? I don't have I got rid of my fax number. I had a Metro, because when I did short sales, they gave us a fax number for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just funny that 5 years ago we were using fax machines. So I'd be interested to see. Some of the times it's just trying to do it so fast because you've got so much going on that. And again, it's like talking to, I hate, like I'm using my kids, but telling my kid just slow down. And it'll happen. Just take your time with it, and it'll go. And usually because I do it all the time, I'm like, this is not working. I can't do this. I don't have time for this. I'm just done.
Yeah.
But but I would be interested to see what the situation was where, because Kristen, forgive me if I'm incorrect, but isn't there, I mean, there's direct information on there from how to do it from Dotloop to DocuSign, right? Don't we have that?
How to do what from Dotloop?
Like move active files from Dotloop to DocuSign. Don't we have that somewhere? We should have that. If we don't, we should. I'll look.
As far as I know, I only know of the moving the Dotloop to Command, not to DocuSign.
Okay. So
Where
that's
so
you move it to
you could essentially start active ones. You could have active ones in Dotloop, right? You could bring them into Command, and then you could continue with the transaction in DocuSign, like on the next step. So if you had the listing paperwork in Dotloop, you bring it into Command, and then it goes under contract. You can start that contract in DocuSign now, and still have essentially have both.
Right, because technically what you're doing is you're downloading the documents from Dotloop to yourself, and then you're uploading them up into Command/DocuSign, because you'll load them up into an envelope in DocuSign from Command, basically. That's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what like doing best practice stuff is. We always taught people to have blank copies of the different parts of the contract on your computer to have in a pinch, so that and it would work in this situation where you could just upload it up into your envelope that you have with the information you need.
Yeah.
So, but let us know how that goes. I'm sorry, it's rough.
Will do.
Yeah.
Kristen, are you having any more Docusign classes anytime soon?
Yeah, we're having another one on the 16th.
Okay.
So June 16th, that's a Tuesday. I believe it's at 11, and then at 12, we're going to do the prep to get paid again. So back-to-back classes, just like we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the class I did yesterday, it will be put on, if it's not already there, it will be put on YouTube. So if you need to go, and there's about 3 or 4 other ones from previous up there also.
Yeah, and Kristen's just doing the right way, which is one way to learn it is to set up a dummy situation and have somebody you can send a contract back and forth with, so you can see the process and everything. I mean, we should use the trick. I don't think you can use it in DocuSign, where you can do with a Gmail account, you could do, if you have a personal account, let's say like Snow White at Gmail, you could do Snow White +1 at Gmail, and that's a different email account that's funneled under Snow White at Gmail, but it's used to be seen as a unique email address. So that's how we used to have older couples that didn't have that maybe only had one email address, but they both had to sign. We would set up a dummy email account like John Smith at Gmail, and we'd do John Smith +1 at gmail.com, and it would go. It's 2 separate emails. That way, both people could sign in Dotloop, because you have to have a unique email address. So I don't know if you can do that. I haven't tested that with DocuSign yet. So, but that's the way I would learn it if it was me.
Well, and the more you're in it,
the
better you get. That's definitely it.
Yeah, it's harder when you're not doing production.
I mean, I only started this 2 months ago, learning it, but when I have to be in it so much to answer questions, even though I'm not using it from a real estate perspective, I'm not giving out contracts and having listing agreements signed, but just being in it all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't make me a pro, and there's still tech errors that I can't correct. We still do it. But overall, I learned the systems and the.
No, you learned that thing yesterday right on the fly about the shift in the text.
I know. That's why when people ask me, I'm like, let me just try it out, because you just never know.
Yeah, that was good. I was like, I don't think that's going to work. And I was like, holy cow, it worked.
Well, and it was weird too, because it worked via the shift versus via the control, which is usually how things work, right? You usually do control and then select the ones you want.
Right.
Versus shift gives you like a whole chunk. It was weird. Anyway, but yeah.
Are you getting a lot of DocuSign? I'm sure tomorrow you're going to get flooded, but are you getting a lot of DocuSign questions? Or let me put it, is the office getting a lot of DocuSign questions?
No, not a ton. It's funny because I actually did in this past week get quite a few, which I gave them how. I mean, most of the time when I'm answering these questions, right, I'm just pulling how-to instructions and sending them out and saying, if you follow these and then still have problems, give me a call, because there's no sense in me rewriting something that's already written really well.
Right.
and with screenshots and everything. But a lot of them, I just pointed them to, you know, like, here's how to get you through the next three days and then come in my class, because, so I think that actually helped. I don't know what the final ended up being, but at one point I saw, I think, like 44 people on there. So
I'm going to see if I can find something for Cheryl real quick on, yeah, guys, we don't have a topic.
so if you have questions,
Yeah.
we can answer or try.
Let's see. Yeah, Jill, let's see, make this neighborhood. All right, so hey, Cheryl, I just went on YouTube and there is, Lori Ballin has 2 videos on neighborhood snaps.
Okay.
And Scott Leroy has one on how to use neighborhood snaps and command designs.
Okay.
So there's a personal neighborhood snapshot in case. So there's somebody else. So I just did, here's what I wrote down. All right, I searched neighborhood snaps, KW command.
Okay.
And a bunch of stuff. Yeah, there's create a neighborhood landing page, work with neighborhood command. That's John Zimba. That's the other guy that's doing all this stuff. So there's probably a lot. I mean, dear Lord.
All right. So this is probably a really silly question. Are neighborhood snaps the same thing as landing pages?
No. So a snap. So, and this is what I was going to ask you. What you're trying to? So a snap. What I look at a snap is the thing. If you go in Kelly and you type, it's a snapshot. So you go in there, you type in 30033, and it pulls up the neighborhoods in there. You can see what that neighborhood, or you type in a neighborhood name, you can see what's happening in that neighborhood. So when you do your neighborhood nurture, that's basically what you're sending out is the snap from Kelly.
Okay.
And it's based on next door. You know, that's where that information is coming from. So try to explain to me what it is you're trying to do or that you're having issues with, and let me see if I can wrap my head around it.
Well, let me table that question, because those were just, when I watched all of these tutorials,
right?
Those were the two, the landing pages, the neighborhood snaps, that were so out of date. I mean, had been so much done on them. So I have to go back to that. And so I'll check out Nick Baldwin, Scott Leroy, and Lori. What was her last name?
Lori Ballin, B-A-L-L-O-N.
Ballin. Okay.
Yeah.
And see if they can help, because I feel like I've got the basics figured out, but those 2 areas are really important that I need to get figured out.
The neighborhood nurture is a smart plan that goes out monthly for your clients.
Right.
Now you can do a landing page, which is really simple. And in fact, we had Denise come, and so we probably have that on our YouTube channel about how to create landing pages. It literally took what, 10 minutes, Kristen, like for us to learn how to do it landing page.
Yeah, I think it's called, actually I'll find it real quick so I can.
Yeah, I mean it was so simple. I couldn't believe it. In fact, Dory says, remember I talked to her, Dory says, I still remember coming in on that call late and seeing Katie Staples' mouth drop when she figured out how easy the landing page.
So when are you using landing pages versus neighborhood snaps?
Okay, so what you can do with a landing page, like if you're doing Facebook ads,
yeah,
they would click, and where they would go is called once they click, they would go to what's called a landing page. And the landing page can be all kinds of things. It could be I'm promoting an open house. I'm promoting a new listing, just sold. There's all kinds of things you can do with landing page, but you could actually put in there, you want to see what's happening in your neighborhood, click here, and it will go to a landing page that you've created that just says, type in your address or something like that, and it'll pull up what their neighborhood is. It's basically like a mini web page. So one of the things that's happened is, particularly with websites, people who are looking for houses don't care about you anymore.
Right.
All they want to see is the house.
Yeah.
So if you have listings,
because of our culture of productivity.
If you have just solds, that's good to promote. They don't care about you. They want to be able to go to your site and see homes. That's what they do at Zillow. That's what they do at Redfin. That's what all they want to do is see houses.
Yep.
So that landing page allows you to create a spot for them to land on that doesn't look like a web page to them. It's like, oh my God, I have to look at this person's life history about how great the realtor they are and what companies and how many puppies they have and all this other stuff. They just want to be able to see what you have to offer. And there's some great examples of that when you do I would look at landing pages first.
Okay.
Before you start looking at that neighborhood snaps.
Okay.
Because the neighborhood snap is really just what's happening. It's like something Chuck Carr does, or he still does, but he probably doesn't do it as much anymore. Is when the stats first came out, we would hire him for specific zip codes or area or neighborhoods.
Yep.
So that's what that is. So they basically put that in. The Chuck Carr stats now are dumbed down to that neighborhood, and so you now have the ability to do that without having to hire Chuck Carr to specifically do that stuff for you. And it's really cool. Like, and have you put yourself on the neighborhood nurture yet?
I think I have actually. I think I like bi-weekly, I think is what I did.
Okay. So if you haven't, do it. That way you can see what it looks like and what it can do for you and how that will, and then you'll see when you do the landing page part, how you can incorporate that neighborhood snap into the landing page to do what you want to do. There's all kinds, because part of the design is putting that information in there as part of the landing page. And I'm telling you, I think it took us 10 minutes to do a fake one for a listing that Patty had.
Okay.
And I have one of my more recent contact names, leads names is Incredible Hulk, because that's what we did. That was the one that pulled up, and it came up within 2 seconds. It was really cool. It was really, really cool.
So you're using for your regular touches, you're using your neighborhood nurtures, whatever, once or twice a month, whatever.
Correct.
That's what you're using.
Right. So now be careful with doing bi-weekly or bi-monthly, because if you've got people set up on the bi-monthly and on the monthly, they're getting the same information twice.
Okay.
So it's, think of the monthly neighborhood nurture as one of your, like a 12 part of your 12 touch, what used to be the 12 touch program, or part of your 33 touch program. Like
right,
one,
for sure. Right.
And then you do, and there again, so there's not really a 33 touch anymore. You can create one. And I think one of the things that somebody, either Nick or somebody did in one of the YouTube videos, is a 36, it's now called a 36 touch. I haven't delved deep into that, but that's out there. And the monthly nurture is part of that, because I think all your clients should be on a monthly.
Right, for sure. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's the next step is what tools and command can I use for my touches? Sure.
And I think Nick has a ton of stuff on that.
Okay.
I'm really excited about seeing what 101 has to offer, because he's doing a 102, but you got to pay for 102.
Okay.
To me, again, training's training, and I'll pay for a train that's good.
Yeah. All right. So it's 101 first. Okay.
And it's free.
And then he's got 102.
I think it's six different labs with stuff in there, and then there's quizzes for each thing before you move on.
Okay.
So, but I'm gonna delve into that stuff next week. So start
with landing pages, or start with Nick Baldwin, and then go to neighborhood snaps, and all of them are relatively easy to figure out.
Yeah, and the snaps is a different. There's snaps and there's nurture. So nurture is the thing that's coming from command. The snap is what you do if you go into Kelly. They're the same. They're technically the same thing, but you can, I can go into Kelly on here, and I'm trying to stay away from using Kelly too much because it's going away. You can go into Kelly and go, I need information on this neighborhood. It's like you go to Sagamore Hills, and it'll have all the information for the restaurants and all the stuff right around you. So. Which is a little different than the neighborhood nurture. The nurture is that, but it's going out to your client with mainly with real estate information.
Okay.
Here's average list price, here's average sales price, here's average days on market. I mean, those are all the things that they get in the neighborhood nurture. So they're two kind of different things. So
okay, I'll have to get in there to try to learn it.
Well, I'm impressed that you're doing that. I mean,
I love Command. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing.
Again, the
It's
story we
easy.
heard, one of the first stories we heard from somebody that had sat down with one of their tech trainers in another region. They're saving them like 10 grand a month with all the stuff they were spending money on. Of course, that's a big rainmaker, but that's a lot of. I mean, those big rainmakers are using that. I mean, you know.
Well, I feel like I figured out how to. It helps me organize my business, my touches. You know that. I'm pretty meticulous because I can't remember what I did yesterday. So all the notes and everything, having all that in one place is fabulous. So now how it's going to help me attract and build business, that's step kind of 2.
Right. So how did you handle your tags? Because I think that's one of the bigger things that people have issues with.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought,
Yeah.
I mean, we do so much work with some of the hospitals. So I tag them, according to the different hospitals or the different folks that I work with that I have developed relationships with.
Okay. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's really easy to over tag.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, that's good.
We're approaching this as simple as best. I'm not trying to make my life any more complicated.
Good. Well, no, we can't get out of the house. Why would we want to do that? Yeah, so, all right. Well, anything else? Yeah. Anything else? Just send me a text. Kristen, we good?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for sending me the Hutch's stuff that he's doing on Thursdays. I'm gonna miss the one today because I got a doctor's appointment. So
okay,
send that on and I'll look at it.
Okay. Did I send you the new? Because we have a new Zoom link. Did I send that to you?
All right, I'm signing off. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks, Carol. Sorry.
Bye.
I don't think so.
No. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me go in. I'll make sure
I don't know. I still don't understand kind of where I fit in right now. I'm still trying to figure that out. But
okay.
I'm here as a backup, I guess is a better way to do it.
Gotcha.
So, all right. But thank you for sending that stuff to me, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.